This week in your small group, you have a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to really do some great ministry. In this series, Cracked, we're looking at the things in our life that really pull us apart, that destroy us, and we hide behind the facades. And tonight, or this last weekend, we looked at the pain of loss. And we started with the wrong approaches to loss. We talked about how we hide, we just ignore it. We pretend like we're fine, everything's good. We talked about blaming people. We blame other people. We blame our job. We blame our boss, as I mentioned, and we even blame God and shake our fist at Him. You know, God, how come you didn't take care of this? How come you weren't there for me? And then the third thing we do is we withdraw. We run away. Substance abuse, alcohol, pain meds. We work too much. Just so that we don't have to think about what's really going on in our life. Our toys, always out playing. These are all terrible responses. And David went through a really horrific experience. He created it himself, actually. The story about him having an affair with Bathsheba. Last week, if you were with us, we talked about my own affair, infidelity with Sandy, and how I blew it. And so it's kind of a very apropos story. But through that experience, having the affair, killing Bathsheba's husband, he gets caught. Nathan comes to him and says, "Hey, David, what you've done is not right. You need to figure this thing out." And David repents. God forgives him. But then God makes this statement. He says, "You're not going to die, David, but your baby that was born to Bathsheba is going to die." And huge loss in his life. But he finally figures it out and he deals with it correctly. He does three things. Instead of ignoring it, he faces it honestly. Is the boy dead? Yes. The baby's dead. Okay. You can't say it's not a big deal. You can't say, "Oh, it'll be fine, I'll get over it." At some point you have to say, the loss is real. It hurts. It's a bummer. It's affecting me. Name it. What loss have you gone through? Tell your group tonight. Talk to them about it, but at least start by naming it within your own life and saying, yes, that really does hurt. Second thing David did, instead of blaming others and blaming God, he trusted God. Crazy thing, after he had prayed, the baby dies, he goes right to the temple and he begins to worship. Instead of shaking his fists, he embraces God. I asked you the question on this weekend. I'm going to ask you again in your small group. What more does God have to do for you for him to deserve your worship? I mean, how many things do you have to stack up and you go, okay, now I'll worship you, God, because you've done this much for me? Was not the life of his own son to pay for your sins, to cover your sins enough? Even though he doesn't do the things we want him to, he is still worth our worship. And instead of blaming God, let's trust him. David did. He said, "You know what? I can't bring the child back. The child's not going to come back, but one day I'll be with him." And he was able to rest in that and worship God. The third thing that he did was he shared his pain. Shared it with his friends, shared it with his wife Bathsheba. And for those of you that are hurting, you're in a perfect place tonight to share with the people in your group. It's only pride that keeps us from sharing. It's our own pride, and what happens is it distances us from others. So engage in your small group tonight. Share your pain. Watch what God can do. He gives more grace to the humble, and that grace will be deposited within your life because he has overcome this world in which we will have trouble. So I'm praying for you. I believe in God for great things. I trust you'll pray for me. I'm in Morocco this week, and I'm on to Egypt this next weekend and be visiting the persecuted church and hopefully be an encouragement to them. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful small group.